the heart of the Middle East, where ancient history and modern conflicts converge, lies a land with a story woven from the threads of Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. This is the story of their ties to the land we now know as Palestine and Israel, a story etched in time. In the shadow of tumultuous conflict, beneath the watchful eyes of the world, one region bears the weight of centuries of religious and geopolitical history. Join us as we embark on a journey to unravel the intricate ties binding Jews, Muslims, and Christians to the heart of the Holy Land. A land that stirs the passions of believers from three of the world's major religions, Palestine and Israel, have long been a crucible of faith, politics, and unyielding conflict. As we delve into the dynamics surrounding the current Hamas-Israel war, we also reflect on the deeper connections that make this region a focal point of global attention. Beyond the headlines and the conflict zones, our documentary takes you on a profound exploration of the intricate tapestry that unites Jews, Muslims, and Christians to the land where dreams and disputes converge, offering an in-depth look at the ongoing conflict between Hamas and Israel that further complicates this already multifaceted narrative. From sacred scriptures to current struggles, this documentary delves into the complex relationships Jews, Muslims, and Christians have with the land of Palestine and Israel. As we examine the ongoing Hamas-Israel war, we unravel the threads of history, faith, and politics that have bound these communities to this region for millennia. The Jewish people have a deep historical connection to the land that is present-day Israel. Here are some key points and approximate historical and numerical data. The Jewish connection to the region dates back over 3,000 years, with the biblical account of the Israelites' exodus from Egypt and their settlement in the Promised Land. In the 10th century BCE, King David established Jerusalem as the capital of the United Kingdom of Israel. His son Solomon built the first temple in the city. In 586 BCE, the Babylonians captured Jerusalem, leading to the exile of many Jews to Babylon. This period in Jewish history is significant. Return after the Babylonian exile, the Jewish people began returning to the land. In 538 BCE, Cyrus the Great of Persia issued a decree allowing their return. The Second Temple was constructed in 516 BCE, and it became a central religious and cultural institution for Jews. In 63 BCE, the Roman Republic conquered Judea, leading to periods of Jewish rebellion and conflict. The Jewish people experienced the dispersion known as the Jewish diaspora, with communities forming across the Roman Empire and beyond. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the Zionist movement emerged, advocating for the re-establishment of a Jewish homeland. In 1948, the State of Israel was officially established. The ties of Muslims to the region now known as Israel and Palestine are rooted in ancient history. Islamic conquest. In the 7th century CE, Muslim armies led by Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab captured Jerusalem in 637 CE. This marked the beginning of Islamic rule in the region. Religious significance: the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, one of Islam's holiest sites, is believed to be the place from which the Prophet Muhammad ascended to the heavens during the night journey. Early Islamic rule. The region was governed by various Islamic dynasties, including the Umayyads, Abbasids, and Fatimids, throughout the Middle Ages. Crusader period. During the Crusader era, European Christian forces controlled parts of the region, with intermittent Muslim rule. Ottoman Empire. From 1517 to 1917, the Ottoman Empire ruled over the area, including present-day Israel and Palestine. British Mandate. Following World War I, the League of Nations granted Britain a mandate to govern the area, leading to significant demographic and political changes. Palestinian Arab population. Before the establishment of Israel in 1948, the population of the region that includes present-day Israel and the West Bank and Gaza Strip consisted of Palestinian Arabs, with smaller Jewish and Christian communities. Modern Israel. In 1948, the State of Israel was established, leading to conflict between Israelis and Palestinians, including the displacement of many Palestinians. The Christian ties to the region now known as Israel and Palestine are deeply rooted in history. Biblical significance. The region is of profound significance to Christians due to its association with key events and figures in the Bible, including the life of Jesus Christ. Holy sites. Many important Christian holy sites are located in this area, including the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem, believed to be the site of Christ's crucifixion and burial. Early Christian communities. Early Christian communities existed in this region during the first centuries of the Common Era. The apostles and early Christian leaders played a significant role in the spread of Christianity. Byzantine era. During the Byzantine Empire, which lasted until the 7th century, Christianity became the dominant religion in the region. Islamic conquest. With the Islamic conquest of Jerusalem in 637 CE, Islamic rule was established, but Christians continued to live in the region and maintain their religious sites. Crusader period. The Crusades brought Latin Christian rule to parts of the region between the 11th and 13th centuries, resulting in significant Christian influence. Ottoman rule. The region was part of the Ottoman Empire from 1517 to 1917, during which various Christian communities lived alongside other religious groups. Modern era. Today, there is a diverse Christian presence, including Greek Orthodox, Roman Catholic, and other Christian denominations. Many Palestinian Christians live in the West Bank and Gaza, with a smaller Christian population in Israel. Nowadays, the Christian population in Israel and Palestine is approximately 2–3% of the total population. The history of Jewish illegal settlements in Israel and Palestine in 1948 is a complex and contentious one, marked by a combination of historical events, international factors, and regional tensions. It's important to provide a balanced perspective on this issue, acknowledging the suffering of both Jewish and Palestinian communities. Early Zionist movement. The Zionist movement emerged in the late 19th century, advocating for the re-establishment of a Jewish homeland in Palestine, then part of the Ottoman Empire. This movement gained momentum due to anti-Semitic sentiments in Europe, including the rise of Adolf Hitler in Germany. British Mandate. After World War I, the League of Nations granted Britain a mandate to govern the region. The Balfour Declaration of 1917 expressed British support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. The Holocaust. The horrors of the Holocaust during World War II led to an increased global sympathy for Jewish refugees, and many survivors sought refuge in Palestine. 1948 and the establishment of Israel. UN Partition Plan. In 1947, the United Nations passed a resolution recommending the partition of Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states, with international administration of Jerusalem. Declaration of the State of Israel. In 1948, the State of Israel was declared, leading to a war between Jewish forces and neighboring Arab states. The conflict resulted in the displacement of Palestinian Arabs. Jewish illegal settlements. After the war, Israel established settlements in the West Bank and Gaza Strip, areas that had been designated for an Arab state under the UN plan. These settlements were considered illegal under international law, and Israel pushes Palestinian to occupy the land of Palestinian. It's important to note that the Palestinian perspective on these events is quite different. From their viewpoint, displacement of Palestinians. The establishment of Israel led to the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinian Arabs, creating a refugee crisis. Continued conflict. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict has persisted for decades, marked by violence, territorial disputes, and suffering on both sides. Cruelty and human rights violations. Palestinians argue that they have faced human rights abuses, restrictions on their movement, and settlement expansion on their land. Arab hospitality. It's worth noting that during the Holocaust, some Arab countries, including Morocco and Tunisia, did provide refuge to Jewish people. However, historical narratives vary, and some Arab leaders were not supportive of Jewish immigration to Palestine. In the present day, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict remains a deeply rooted and complex issue with no easy solution. Efforts to achieve peace continue, with various international agreements and negotiations aimed at addressing the rights and security of both Israelis and Palestinians. It's important to recognize the suffering and humanitarian concerns on both sides while seeking a balanced understanding of the historical context. Throughout history, there have been instances where Muslim-majority countries provided refuge and assistance to Jews who were severely victimized in Europe. Here are some notable examples. Ottoman Empire. During the Spanish Inquisition in the late 15th century, many Jews fled persecution in Spain and found refuge in the Ottoman Empire. Sultan Bayezid II is famously said to have issued a decree welcoming the Jewish refugees. Jews who settled in the Ottoman Empire were able to practice their religion and engage in various trades, contributing to the empire's cultural and economic diversity. North Africa and the Maghreb. In the 1940s, as World War II and the Holocaust raged in Europe, countries like Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia, with Muslim-majority populations, provided safe haven for Jewish refugees and those fleeing Nazi persecution. In Morocco, King Mohammed V is noted for resisting anti-Jewish laws imposed by the Vichy French regime during the war, protecting his Jewish subjects. Albania. During World War II, Albania, a predominantly Muslim country, saved almost its entire Jewish population. Albanian families provided shelter and protection to Jewish neighbors and strangers, displaying an inspiring example of solidarity. Iran. In the 20th century, Iran hosted a significant Jewish community. During the Holocaust, Reza Shah and his successor, Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi, offered refuge to Jews, especially from Poland and Eastern Europe. It's important to recognize that individuals and communities within Muslim-majority countries have often shown compassion and empathy to those in need, including Jews fleeing persecution. These acts of humanitarianism stand as testament to the shared values of compassion and humanity that transcend religious and cultural differences. The Arab-Israeli conflict has involved a series of wars and conflicts over several decades. I'll provide an overview of the major wars: 1948 Arab-Israeli War, War of Independence. This war began after Israel declared independence on May 14, 1948. Arab states, including Egypt, Jordan, Syria, and Iraq, opposed the establishment of Israel. The conflict resulted in the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinian Arabs who became refugees. Israel emerged as an independent state, but with unresolved borders and ongoing hostilities with its neighbors. Suez Crisis, 1956. Israel, along with the United Kingdom and France, launched a military operation against Egypt after Egypt nationalized the Suez Canal. International pressure, primarily from the United States and the Soviet Union, led to a ceasefire and withdrawal of foreign forces. Six-Day War, 1967. In June 1967, Israel launched a preemptive strike against Egypt, Jordan, and Syria. The war resulted in Israel's capture of the Sinai Peninsula, West Bank, Gaza Strip, and Golan Heights. This war had significant implications for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, as Israel gained control of territories with Palestinian populations. Yom Kippur War, 1973. On October 6, 1973, Egypt and Syria launched a surprise attack on Israel during the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur. The conflict resulted in significant losses on both sides, and a ceasefire was brokered by the United States and the Soviet Union. Lebanon War, 1982. Israel invaded Lebanon to target Palestinian militants and the Palestine Liberation Organization, PLO. The conflict led to a prolonged Israeli military presence in southern Lebanon. First Intifada, 1987 to 1993, and Second Intifada, 2000 to 2005. Palestinian uprisings against Israeli rule in the occupied territories, resulting in significant violence and Israeli military responses. Gaza conflicts, multiple. Israel has engaged in several military operations in the Gaza Strip due to rocket attacks by Palestinian militant groups like Hamas. Recent developments: peace agreements, such as the Camp David Accords in 1978, Oslo Accords in 1993, and the Abraham Accords in 2020, have aimed at achieving peace and normalization of relations between Israel and some Arab states. On October 7, 2023, Hamas attacked Israel. Hamas claimed that this attack is in the revenge of against Israel brutality, illegal settlements, killing of Palestinian civilians, and for the freedom of Palestine. Almost more than 1,500 people were killed in Hamas attack. In retaliation, Israel started attack on Gaza Strip to encounter Hamas, but the Gaza is one of the most populated area in the world, so by now almost more than 4,500 people have been killed in Gaza, in which 65% are women and children. Until now, Israel attacks civilians, hospitals, places of worship. Furthermore, Israel used phosphorus bomb. The attack on hospital condemned by almost all countries in the world. After that, Israel claimed that attack is done by Hamas, but Israeli officials have contradictions in their own statements. The war is still continue, and a lot of civilians suffer, which mostly include children and women. Currently, Gaza is in the situation of humanitarian crisis and lack of basic facilities such as water, food, electricity, and medicines. The Israel-Hamas war can lead to World War III. If World III won't start, the world will pay a huge and may destroy the whole human being. The Arab-Israeli conflict remains a complex and deeply rooted issue with multiple factors, including territorial disputes, refugees, and competing national narratives. Resolution efforts continue through diplomacy and international mediation, but a comprehensive and lasting peace remains elusive. In the intricate tapestry of history, the lands of Palestine and Israel have witnessed the intertwined stories of Jews, Muslims, and Christians for centuries. The establishment of Israel marked a profound chapter in this narrative, giving rise to a complex conflict that has endured for generations. Today, as the world watches the devastating toll of the Hamas-Israel conflict, with over 1,500 Israeli and more than 4,500 Palestinian lives lost, we are faced with a grave reality. The majority of these casualties are innocent women and children caught in the crossfire. But we must remember that history need not dictate our future. It is the collective responsibility of humanity to strive for peace, to bridge divides, and to prevent the unthinkable. A third world war looms on the horizon if we do not act swiftly to bring an end to this relentless cycle of violence. Let us heed the lessons of history, the wisdom of empathy, and the urgency of our times. Each of us can play a role in the pursuit of lasting peace. It's time to choose dialogue over destruction, compassion over conflict, and unity over division. The legacy of our actions today will shape the destiny of generations to come. The choice is ours, for peace or peril, for a brighter future or the abyss of war. The time to act is now.